In 331 BCE, an unstoppable force met an immovable empire. History hung by a thread at Gaugamela. Overwhelming numbers promised victory for Persia. Yet, their king would soon flee in absolute terror. Shattered. What cataclysmic genius could unleash such devastation? How could one man achieve the utterly unthinkable? This is the story of Alexander's impossible triumph. The day a world empire crumbled under Macedonian might. Journey back to 331 BCE, to the desolate, windswept plains of ancient Mesopotamia, a destiny-forged battlefield. Here, history's greatest empires were destined to clash, a momentous confrontation that would redefine the ancient world. This vast, open stage, chosen and prepared by Darius himself, awaited its epic, bloody, and decisive drama. Dawn broke on the eve of destruction. Two titans stood poised, about to collide in an unprecedented conflict. Behold, the Achaemenid Persian Empire's million-man army, a colossus commanded by Darius III, ready to crush. Opposing them, Alexander's audacious forces, a mere 47,000 men, vastly outnumbered, yet unbroken. How could Alexander's small force possibly crush a Persian army 5 times its size? It seemed utterly impossible. The odds were insurmountable. Yet, these men stood ready, their resolve forged in countless previous victories. Darius III, King of Kings, believed this battle would finally end Alexander's relentless, arrogant defiance. But Alexander was no ordinary general. He saw not just numbers, but weaknesses, opportunities, and paths to victory. The ultimate question echoed across the plains: how could Alexander defy all military logic and expectation? His answer lay in genius strategy, a daring, audacious plan few other commanders would ever conceive. And in the elite forces he had meticulously forged, each man a lethal weapon, honed for Alexander's ultimate purpose. Their discipline and unparalleled training were his greatest weapons against Persia's vast, disparate legions. We will unravel the layers of his cunning strategy, the audacious moves that would bait, deceive, and destroy. Alexander's tactical brilliance wasn't just about fighting. It was about thinking beyond any battlefield constraint. A clash of titans, a test of wills, a battle where strategy, not just strength, would decide everything. Join us as we cinematic explore how Alexander crushed the Persian Empire at Gaugamela, defying all odds. Before Gaugamela, 2 titans of the ancient world stood poised. Their collision would reshape history forever. These are stories of empires, one colossal in wealth, the other rising with ambition. The Achaemenid Persian Empire, a realm of breathtaking grandeur stretching across 3 continents. Untold riches flowed into its coffers, accumulated over centuries of conquest and dominion. From distant satrapies, a tapestry of cultures and peoples served the great king. At its heart, a powerful centralized administration governed an empire unlike any before it. Darius III ascended the peacock throne, inheriting a legacy of immense power and complex challenges. He commanded resources unimaginable to the nascent powers of the Mediterranean world. His rule spanned from Egypt to India, a testament to an enduring, formidable dominion. This was an empire forged through 1,000 years of expansion, dominating the known world. Its armies drew from countless nations, a mosaic of warriors united under one banner. Infrastructure and trade routes connected its far-flung provinces, fostering prosperity and control. The Persian military was a formidable force, renowned for its numbers and diverse units. They represented the pinnacle of imperial military might, ready to defend their vast realm. Far to the west, a different power was stirring in the rugged lands of Macedon. Under Philip II, Macedon rose from a Hellenic backwater to a dominant regional force. His strategic genius unified a fragmented kingdom and expanded its influence dramatically. Philip revolutionized warfare, forging a professional army centered on the fearsome Sarissa phalanx. Philip integrated combined arms, agile cavalry, disciplined infantry, and formidable siege engineers, creating a modern army. This was not just an army. It was a highly trained, adaptable war machine. Loyalty and ambition fueled these warriors, bound by a charismatic leader's vision. Upon Philip's assassination, his son Alexander inherited this powerful, seasoned army. Alexander, tutored by Aristotle, possessed unparalleled military genius and unyielding resolve. He quickly solidified his rule, commanding fierce loyalty from his veteran forces. With Greece pacified, Macedonian ambition turned eastward, towards the vast Persian Empire. The stage was set for an epic confrontation, a clash of civilizations on an unprecedented scale. Two vastly different cultures, two distinct approaches to power, stood on an unavoidable collision course. Their military doctrines diverged sharply. Massed numbers versus elite, disciplined innovation. For Macedon, it was conquest. For Persia, survival. The political landscape was fraught with tension. The strategic stakes were immense, promising a battle that would determine the fate of the ancient world. After securing Greece, Alexander turned his gaze eastward. His relentless march began, fueled by ambition and destiny. The Persian Empire, a colossal entity, now lay before him. This was not just war, but total conquest. His audacious genius and the might of his elite army were about to be unleashed upon the ancient world. At the Granicus, a formidable Persian force awaited. Alexander faced a river crossing under enemy fire. Against overwhelming odds, Alexander led from the front, his elite companions smashing through Persian lines. The river turned crimson as the Macedonians, disciplined and deadly, broke the Persian cavalry's resistance. The first major clash ended in a stunning Macedonian victory, demonstrating Alexander's tactical brilliance. Granicus was a brutal lesson for the Persians. Alexander's army was not merely an invading force. It was a juggernaut, meticulously trained, led by a general who understood the art of war. Following Granicus, Alexander pressed eastward. Cities and provinces across Asia Minor fell quickly. Each victory strengthened his hold, extending his influence and securing vital supply lines for his campaign. He often offered lenient terms, turning former enemies into allies, consolidating his territorial gains. His strategic intent was clear: to dismantle the Persian Empire piece by piece, city by city. His relentless campaign proved his audacious genius, relentlessly pushing his army deeper into Persian lands. Darius III, stung by defeat, gathered a colossal new army. He would personally confront Alexander at Issus. A fateful miscalculation led Alexander to march past Darius's main force, setting the stage for battle. The constricted terrain at Issus negated Darius's numerical advantage, playing directly into Alexander's hands. Alexander, seizing the initiative, launched a furious charge against the Persian left flank. His tactical innovations shattered the enemy's formations, creating an immediate and devastating breakthrough. Darius, witnessing the rout, fled the field, leaving his family and empire exposed to Alexander's might. Each victory strengthened his hold, extending his influence and securing vital supply lines for his campaign. Issus was not just a victory, it was a devastating humiliation for the King of Kings. Alexander's respectful treatment of Darius's captured family was brilliant psychological warfare in action. He offered Darius terms, but only on Alexander's conditions, highlighting his newfound dominance. Issus was not just a victory, it was a devastating humiliation for the King of Kings. The Persian emperor's flight was a profound psychological blow, demoralizing his remaining forces completely. Alexander methodically swept through the Levant, denying Darius any naval advantage or coastal strongholds. With the western flank secured, Alexander prepared for the ultimate showdown, deep within Persia's heartland. All roads now led to Gaugamela, where fate awaited the two titans and their colossal armies. The stage was set for their final, decisive confrontation, an epic battle for the control of an empire. As the final embers of night faded, an eerie silence fell across the vast plains of Gaugamela. Two titanic armies, poised for destiny, awaited the first light that would herald an unprecedented conflict. Darius was brought to his knees once. Now, he faced an enemy who would accept nothing less than everything. This was more than a battle. It was the climactic confrontation of two empires, two titans. The stage for this epic showdown was not chosen by chance, but by shrewd, calculated design. Darius III, ruler of the Achaemenid Empire, meticulously selected Gaugamela for his last stand. Unlike Issus or Granicus, this expansive terrain favored the overwhelming numerical strength of Persia. Darius envisioned a battlefield where Alexander's tactical brilliance would finally be neutralized. The air crackled with anticipation, a heavy cloak of psychological tension draped over every warrior. Every irregularity, every potential obstacle to Persian chariots was systematically removed. This wasn't merely a battlefield. It was a colossal death trap, engineered for Macedonian annihilation. Darius, with grim determination, ensured the battle would be fought precisely on his chosen terms. His defensive strategy was clear: leverage overwhelming numbers and specialized units to crush Alexander. The Persian army was a vast, multi-ethnic host, an imperial tapestry of warriors from across the empire. From the steppes to the Indus, countless warriors answered the call, swelling Darius's ranks immensely. Estimates speak of over 1 million men, an army truly worthy of the great king's immense power. At the forefront, Darius arrayed his terrifying scythed chariots, designed to shatter the Macedonian phalanx. Each chariot was a whirling engine of death, intended to tear through infantry formations with brutal efficiency. Their primary role was to disrupt, to create gaps, and to sow chaos within Alexander's disciplined lines. Months before, Persian engineers had meticulously prepared the field, flattening it for maximum impact. Alongside the chariots, a new, awe-inspiring weapon emerged: 15 towering Indian war elephants. These colossal beasts, rarely seen by the Macedonians, were intended to strike fear and disorder. Their thundering charge and immense bulk promised to crush and disorganize any infantry in their path. They represented a potent psychological weapon, a shocking display of the Persian Empire's vast resources. Darius's strategic masterpiece also included a formidable cavalry arm, vast and seemingly endless. From armored cataphracts to swift Scythian horse archers, their sheer numbers were overwhelming. Darius aimed to utterly envelop Alexander's flanks, preventing any Macedonian maneuvering advantage. He sought to trap Alexander, to eliminate his famed cavalry charge and relentless flanking tactics. Darius's strategic masterpiece also included a formidable cavalry arm, vast and seemingly endless. Every aspect of the battlefield, every Persian unit, was meticulously placed to counter Macedonian strengths. Scouts confirmed the leveled ground, the hidden obstacles, and the sheer depth of Darius's formations. The numerical disparity was staggering. Alexander faced perhaps the largest army in ancient history. His generals urged caution, suggesting a night attack or a flanking maneuver to avoid the trap. But Alexander, true to his audacious spirit, rejected all defensive strategies outright. He famously stated, "I will not steal a victory," choosing direct confrontation over deception. Alexander would meet Darius head-on, daring to challenge a prepared battlefield on its own terms. The stage was set for an epic, brutal clash, a testament to both genius and overwhelming force. Alexander aimed to turn Darius's meticulously planned defense into his ultimate strategic undoing. The world held its breath. An unprecedented tactical masterclass was about to unfold at Gaugamela. This audacious decision, a gamble against overwhelming odds, would define Alexander's legendary legacy. Despite the traps, despite the numbers, Alexander believed in the superiority of his disciplined army. Darius, anticipating victory, believed his preparations had finally robbed Alexander of his advantage. The tactical chessboard was set, pawns and kings ready for a brutal, decisive, historical engagement. The plains of Gaugamela awaited. A colossal battle unlike any before was about to erupt. This is Gaugamela, a vast plain where two empires prepared for a clash that would forever reshape history. Alexander's Macedonians, outnumbered, stood ready. Their destiny and the fate of an empire hung in the balance. Darius's million-man army stretched for miles, a human tide poised to overwhelm its audacious foe. But Alexander saw not an insurmountable force, but a puzzle, a weakness hidden within raw brute power. His plan, audacious and brilliant, aimed to exploit Persian formations, turning their sheer strength against them. The order came: Not a direct charge, but an unexpected, deliberate sideward shift across the battlefield. This was the oblique advance, Alexander's masterstroke, a calculated gamble to draw his enemy out. Alexander himself led the right wing, riding at the very edge, daring the Persians to respond to his dangerous movement. The phalanx moved like an unstoppable entity, deliberately stretching the immense Persian battle lines thinner and thinner. Persian commanders watched with growing unease. Alexander was not engaging directly, but moving to outflank them. The intention was clear: force Darius to extend his own flanks, creating critical openings elsewhere on the field. Darius's cavalry on his left was compelled to respond, riding to match Alexander's dangerous flanking maneuver. The order came: not a direct charge, but an unexpected, deliberate sideward shift across the battlefield. Alexander observed, his brilliant trap slowly closing. Every Persian countermove played directly into his hands. The Persian formation, once a solid wall, began to show cracks. The flanks were being drawn dangerously wide. The phalanx moved like an unstoppable entity, deliberately stretching the immense Persian battle lines thinner and thinner. Alexander observed, his brilliant trap slowly closing. Every Persian countermove played directly into his hands, but the phalanx held firm. Its disciplined ranks absorbed the charge, turning the chariot's momentum against them. This desperate attempt to counter the oblique advance stretched their lines, creating initial, subtle vulnerabilities on the battlefield. Meanwhile, the desperate Persian cavalry on the flanks engaged. A brutal, grinding struggle for positional advantage ensued. Horses stumbled, chariots overturned. The Macedonian formation proved too resilient for Darius's shock tactics. The constant pressure on the flanks finally told. A critical, fatal gap began to appear in Darius's central line. This was it, the infamous gap. The opportunity Alexander had meticulously planned and patiently waited for. Like a wound in the heart of the Persian army, the gap beckoned. It was the moment of decision. With each Persian attempt to envelop Alexander's right, their center became more exposed, more vulnerable. The Persian flank commanders were too focused on Alexander's elusive right wing to notice the true danger. Behind Alexander, the elite companion cavalry, the finest shock troops of the ancient world, held their breath. Then, the signal, the order that would commit everything, that would decide the fate of entire empires. Alexander himself, the spearhead of the charge, led from the front, a beacon of fearless resolve. The thunder began. 3,000 companion cavalry, a living battering ram, surged into the created void. Their hooves pounded the earth, a symphony of destruction, shaking the very ground beneath their enemies' feet. Years of training, months of marching, culminated in this precise moment. Exploit the opening, or perish trying. The Persians in the center were caught completely by surprise, their formations shattered by this sudden, devastating thrust. Through the heart of the Persian lines, straight towards Darius's command, Alexander carved a path of destiny. Like a tsunami, the companion cavalry crashed into the disoriented Persian center, turning order into utter chaos. The wedge relentlessly pushed deeper, a direct assault aimed at the very heart of the Persian command structure. Darius's numerical superiority, once his greatest asset, had become a fatal vulnerability. His army was being split. Panic rippled through the royal guard. Alexander was not just winning, he was coming for Darius himself. The ultimate prize, the enemy king. Alexander's audacious gamble had brought him to Darius's doorstep. The Persian resolve crumbled. The direct threat to their king proved too much. Their grand army was finally breaking. Faced with Alexander's relentless charge, Darius made his choice. He turned his chariot and fled the battlefield. The sight of their emperor fleeing shattered all hope. The million-man army dissolved into a desperate rout. The battle was won. Alexander's genius had crushed the Persian Empire's numerical might at Gaugamela. A masterpiece of strategy and courage, Gaugamela cemented Alexander's legacy as history's greatest commander. Then came the moment. Alexander, fueled by an audacious strategy, committed to a direct assault. His shock troops, a spearhead of unyielding resolve, crashed into the heart of the Persian defenses. The collision was catastrophic. Persian resolve, already strained, began to visibly buckle under the immense pressure. Hopes of holding the line vanished. The Persian center, the empire's pride, fractured under Alexander's might. The strategic thrust carved a devastating path. A chasm opened, tearing the vast Persian host asunder. Alexander himself led the charge. His relentless advance brought him terrifyingly close to Darius's command. The emperor's personal guard, once formidable, now fought a desperate, losing battle for their sovereign. Darius's position, once thought secure, was now a vortex of violence, teetering on the edge. The sheer force of Alexander's penetration shattered any illusion of Persian control or victory. Fear became a tangible entity. Panic, a silent contagion, began its rapid spread through the Persian lines. Command structures crumbled. The famed Persian immortals found themselves fighting a desperate, losing battle. The battlefield symphony transformed into a discordant roar of chaos, a prelude to utter collapse. Even the mighty war elephants, meant to instill terror, turned on their own, adding to the pandemonium. Amidst the swirling dust and blood, the vast Persian host began to unravel, piece by agonizing piece. Darius III, witnessing his empire's vanguard shatter, faced a terrible, unavoidable truth. Survival of the empire now hinged on the emperor's life. Advisors pleaded for his immediate retreat. With a heavy heart, Darius made the agonizing decision. To save the empire, he must flee. The royal chariot was prepared with frantic haste, a symbol of empire, now an instrument of escape. The great king, lord of a million-man army, climbed aboard, leaving his doomed soldiers behind. The chariot surged away, a desperate dash for life, abandoning the battle's grim reality. As Darius fled, the imperial standard fell, a powerful symbol of leadership, now a mere casualty. The news of Darius's flight tore through the Persian lines like a wildfire, igniting pure terror. Hope evaporated. The million-man army, leaderless, became a panicked mob, desperate to survive. The rout began in earnest. What was left of order dissolved into a desperate, every man for himself frenzy. Alexander's cavalry, relentless and swift, pursued the scattering forces, turning retreat into slaughter. No quarter was given. The Macedonian pursuit was merciless, a grim testament to total victory. As dusk fell, the plains of Gaugamela bore witness to the complete collapse of a mighty empire. Alexander, architect of this devastation, surveyed the unfolding rout, his victory decisive and complete. The cheers of his victorious Macedonians echoed across the battlefield, a sound of absolute triumph. The ground was soaked in blood, a testament to the colossal struggle and the immense price of defeat. The Persian Empire, once an unstoppable force, had been brought to its knees by one man's will. Alexander's strategic brilliance and unwavering courage had delivered a swift, decisive victory. The million-man army, a symbol of Persian power, was utterly shattered, never to recover. The Persian Empire, once an unstoppable force, had been brought to its knees by one man's will. The million-man army, a symbol of Persian power, was utterly shattered, never to recover. The morning after Gaugamela dawned on a new reality. The Persian Empire was utterly broken. This was more than a battle. It was the unraveling of an empire, a turning point in history. The decisive victory at Gaugamela marked the beginning of Alexander's undisputed reign over Asia. Historians would forever record this day, where one man's genius brought down a superpower. Alexander's audacity, his strategic brilliance, defined an era and reshaped the ancient world. The dust settled, but the echoes of Gaugamela would resonate through millennia, a timeless testament. An empire spanning continents, a civilization rich in history, vanished under a Macedonian storm. From its ashes, a new Hellenistic world would rise, forged in the crucible of conquest. This was the day Alexander truly became great, forever changing the course of human civilization. The dust settled on Gaugamela, revealing a landscape irrevocably scarred by ambition and unimaginable brutality. Alexander's tactical genius had shattered the Persian million-man army and sealed its devastating fate. The victory was complete, but the king remained at large. Alexander immediately ordered relentless pursuit of Darius. Darius, the Achaemenid king, fled eastward, leaving his empire's heart exposed and profoundly vulnerable. Darius's hasty retreat left behind an astonishing bounty, the spoils of an empire now crumbling before Alexander. The immense wealth of the Achaemenid Empire, accumulated over centuries, now passed into Macedonian hands. With Darius a fugitive, the path lay open. Alexander turned his gaze toward the legendary city of Babylon. Babylon, a jewel of the ancient world, welcomed its new conqueror, offering no resistance to Alexander. The city's immense strategic and economic power now firmly belonged to the victorious Macedonian king. From Babylon, Alexander pressed on, his sights set on another imperial capital, the ancient city of Susa. Susa's vast treasury, filled with incredible riches, stood unguarded, yielding more plunder to the conquerors. With two great capitals secured, Alexander began plotting the final, decisive blow against Persian might. His ultimate destination, the ceremonial heart of the Achaemenid Empire, the magnificent city of Persepolis. Persepolis, a symbol of 2 centuries of Persian power, awaited its fate at Alexander's formidable hands. The city's immense wealth, collected over generations, was now ripe for the taking, signaling Persia's end. In a final, symbolic act, Alexander ordered the burning of the royal palace. Avenging ancient wrongs, the roaring inferno consumed a symbol of ancient tyranny, marking the definitive end of the Achaemenid era. Gaugamela, followed by these conquests, irrevocably sealed the fate of the Achaemenid superpower. A 2-century-old empire, once unchallengeable, was dismantled, clearing the path for Alexander's dominion. From the Aegean to the Indus, Alexander now reigned supreme over an unprecedented, colossal new empire. Gaugamela wasn't just a battle, it was the decisive turning point, ushering in a brand new age. His ambition ignited. Alexander looked east, driven by destiny to conquer even more of the known world. The echo of Gaugamela reverberated, solidifying Alexander's legend, shaping the course of ancient history forever. The dust of Gaugamela settled, but its tremors resonated across continents, echoing through the corridors of time itself. This was more. Alexander's decisive victory was not merely a military triumph. It marked a cataclysmic shift in the very fabric of global power. It was a cultural earthquake, shattering old orders and reshaping civilizations. A new era was about to be forged. Gaugamela was the genesis. It forcefully ushered in the transformative Hellenistic age, forever altering the course of history. This new age saw Greek language, culture, and influence spread like wildfire across vast swathes of conquered Asia. Koine Greek, the common tongue, became the lingua franca for governance, trade, and intellectual pursuit across empires. From the Mediterranean to the Indus, a shared language facilitated unprecedented communication and exchange, binding distant lands. Greek culture, with its philosophy, art, and political structures, began to take root in the most unexpected places. Art and architecture evolved, demonstrating a captivating fusion of styles. New aesthetics emerged, rich with diverse influences. Greek philosophical thought, science, and literature permeated new societies, sparking intellectual revolutions across continents. Alexander's conquests created a vast, interconnected realm, forever linking East and West in an intricate web of influence. Cities like Alexandria Eshate became beacons of Hellenism, centers of learning and commerce far from the Greek heartland. The monumental shift in global power dynamics was undeniable. A millennia-old Persian hegemony vanished overnight. Macedonian dominance replaced Persian authority, fundamentally reordering the geopolitical landscape for centuries to come. More profoundly, Gaugamela initiated a grand experiment, the fusion of Eastern and Western civilizations, a unique synthesis. This wasn't mere imitation, it was a vibrant, organic blending of traditions, creating entirely new cultural expressions. Beyond culture, the echoes of Alexander's strategic genius resonated profoundly. Gaugamela was a masterclass in warfare. His tactical brilliance, evident at Gaugamela, continued to influence military thought for millennia, a timeless blueprint for victory. Commanders from Rome to Napoleon studied Alexander's campaigns, seeking to replicate his audacity and battlefield innovation. Gaugamela showcased the pinnacle of combined arms warfare, a symphony of cavalry, infantry, and intelligent command. It solidified Gaugamela's place, not just as a great battle, but as one of history's most pivotal and enduring military encounters. Gaugamela stands as a monumental testament. A single battle shaped empires, cultures, and the very trajectory of human civilization. Its legacy, the Hellenistic Age, remains a vibrant chapter, a testament to the profound and lasting impact of one man's vision. Gaugamela, more than a battle, it was an immortal victory etched into the annals of time. A testament to audacious leadership, Alexander dared to confront the impossible with brilliant, decisive action. Their elite military discipline, forged through years of relentless training, proved an unstoppable, cohesive force. His unparalleled strategic vision saw beyond the chaos, orchestrating triumph where others saw only overwhelming odds. This epic clash was a masterclass in ancient warfare, forever altering the geopolitical landscape of its age. The enduring lessons from Gaugamela echo through millennia, shaping our understanding of military genius. Its profound impact on ancient history is undeniable, charting a new course for empires and civilizations alike. Alexander's audacity and tactics inspired countless military leaders, influencing strategy across every subsequent era. Join us again on A Leading Analysis channel for more cinematic explorations into history's greatest conflicts. From ancient empires to modern warfare, we delve deep into the pivotal moments that defined humanity's past, uncover untold stories, dissect complex strategies, and witness the epic scale of battles across history. If you found this journey into Alexander's world compelling, please like this video and share your thoughts. Your insights fuel our passion. Subscribe to A Leading Analysis channel for more immersive historical narratives. We are dedicated to bringing the past to life, ensuring these monumental sagas continue to resonate with us.